Sam Darnold dealt, by now I'm sure you're aware, to the Carolina Panthers in exchange for a 6th-round pick this year and a 2nd and a 4th next year. To everyone who wants to hear my reaction, it can very easily be summed up in 2 words, and those words are Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill's total QBR under Adam Gase, the brilliant offensive mind who has been the head coach of the Jets the past 2 years and was Tannehill's head coach in Miami. Tannehill's QBR under Gase was 41.5. Sam Darnold's QBR under Adam Gase was slightly higher than that. It was still bad, but it was higher than that. And the reason is Darnold is better than Tannehill. Darnold came out of college more highly touted than Tannehill. He has more obvious talent than Tannehill. By the way, by QBR, Ryan Tannehill was the 5th-rated quarterback in the NFL the last 2 seasons once he got the stench of Adam Gase's brilliant offensive mind out of his head. Sam Darnold is 23 years old and about to play for his 3rd head coach and 3rd offensive coordinator. And he is leaving behind a team whose first-round picks from the years 2011 through 2018 were Muhammad Wilkerson, Quentin Coples, Dee Milner, Sheldon Richardson, Calvin Pryor, Leonard Williams, Darren Lee, Jamal Adams, and Darnold himself. Do you know what they all have in common? I'm glad you asked. None of them is on the Jets anymore. None, not a one. That is the express train to sucking. If you want to get from wherever you are to being the worst team in your sport as fast as possible, get your first-round pick wrong every year for a decade, and then let me know how it turns out. Sam Darnold, who I'm not making blameless in all of this, but it must be said, once and for all, Darnold is the victim of what can only be described as professional sabotage. He's got to be the happiest man on planet Earth today. To go from Adam Gase to Joe Brady in football would be like going from kindergarten to getting a PhD. And if you don't believe me, just ask Joe Burrow how it worked out for him. Joe Burrow was getting ready for a career in some other industry before his final year at LSU because he damn sure wasn't going to be an NFL quarterback. And then Joe Brady became his offensive coordinator, and he became the first pick in the entire thing and one of the greatest seasons of all time. That Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, is now in Carolina. That's who Sam Darnold is getting it to work for. Do you know who his head coach is? Matt Rule. That's the guy the Jets wouldn't hire without telling him who his assistants should be. So that guy went to Carolina and hired Joe Brady, the guy everybody wants. And the Jets hired the brilliant offensive mind that was Adam Gase. That guy, Matt Rule, and Joe Brady are going to turn Sam Darnold into a better quarterback than the Jets have had since Joe Namath. You watch. He is going to do for him what the Jets never did. Carolina's going to draft an awesome receiver, or they're going to get the tight end from Florida, and they're going to actually try. That will be the biggest difference between what Carolina's going to do next year and what the Jets have done 2 of the 3 seasons that Sam Darnold was their quarterback. Bear in mind, they traded up to take a quarterback number 3 and then tanked 2 out of their next 3 seasons. So Zach Wilson had damn well better be Patrick Mahomes because the Jets just gave up 3 ones to get him. And listen, to be clear, I will be rooting like crazy for him because that's what fans do. But I need one more day of being disgusted for what this woebegone disgrace of a franchise has been the last 3 years before I can get it out of my system. Tomorrow we move on. My wife knows I have a 24-hour rule. When something bad happens, professionally, otherwise, and I guess I'll put this in that category, I allow myself to be disgusted, despondent, whatever the word is, for 24 hours, and then you move on. Well, my 24 hours haven't expired yet. How bad are the Jets? I'm glad you asked. No team in the common draft era, which is the year I was born, has ever drafted a quarterback in the top 3 picks twice in 4 years. Congratulations. You made history. You ruined a quarterback faster than any team ever. Ever. Right now in Chicago, Ryan Pace is throwing a celebration. He's throwing a party. He's got a big sign on his door. At least I didn't do that. So that's where we are. And in case you're wondering how I feel, that's it. I needed to get that off my chest. Get Up is not the place for me to do that sort of thing. But that is my reaction to this. Do I think it's the right thing to do? Only time will tell. I will go into this with a hopeful tone in my heart because it is a fresh start. The general manager of the Jets is, for all intents and purposes, new. This is him putting his flag in the ground or whatever it is you do and saying, this is the team I'm going to build. The new coach is someone everyone seems to love. And the quarterback, let's see, comes out of BYU, had one great year. I ask you, when last year, a year ago today, when the Mel Kipers and the Todd McShades of the world were projecting who are going to be the highly drafted quarterbacks next year, I asked them that question. That's my job. You know what names I heard? I heard the name Trevor Lawrence. I heard the name Justin Fields. I heard the name Trey Lance. A year ago, Todd McShay was saying to me on television, there's a guy named Trey Lance at North Dakota State who was going to enter this conversation. No one was talking about Mac Jones. Mac Jones had, by the numbers, the greatest season in the history of college football and won the national championship at Alabama playing in the SEC. And no one was talking about Zach Wilson, who had a great year at BYU. He was brilliant in games against teams that BYU plays. And then he made one unbelievable off-platform throw at a pro day. And the New York Jets decided, no matter what else happens, they can't live without him. Now, everyone else likes him. So I'm not here to tell you that it's a mistake. I'm not here to tell you it was the wrong decision. But I am here to tell you that just once I needed to get that off my chest. Because what they did to that kid, Sam Darnold, is just unfair. And I don't know Sam Darnold from a hole in the wall. I met him once my whole life. And he wasn't even on the Jets yet. He came here. He came through Get Up, the first month of our existence. And I had my own problems back then, if you remember. And so I wasn't really thinking a whole lot about what his problems might be. But he came through here, and we talked, and I met his mother and all that kind of stuff. And he gets drafted by the Jets. And I'm ecstatic because I figure they finally got their guy. And look how it turns out. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.